Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The background of this pour is his carrying of only one book, Jivanmukta Gita, to Puttaparthi, and going through the book, and it is absolutely Swami's will that out of the 3-4 darshans, 6 darshans, initial couple of darshans he did not carry the book. Afterwards, 2 darshans his eyes fell on, that is Swami's will absolutely, for sadhaka's sake, his eyes fell on the experience of Jivanmukta. And the next 2 days, his eyes fell on the aroma of the Jivanmukta. And lo and behold, like he poured after a Thursday bhajan, sparkling, striking, vibrating, the experience of Jivanmukta turned out to be a Videha Mukta state, or the transcendental state, or for you sadhakas who believe his state, the state while at the party, from the pour, the state in which the pour came out. One video and one audio pour came to you from Parthi. And the aroma of the Jivanmukta, that turned out to be the Jivanmukta still in creation. Still has harmless, his chitta bank is cleared, harmless memories of the past. Memories of the past with respect to only one thing, the sadhana period. Leave alone all other things. If a Jivanmukta's mind is, this is written by Shivanandaji Maharaj, if a Jivanmukta state memory is going to go to all useless things, stupid things, his attachments, aversions, etc., then it is an insult to the expression Jivanmukta. So it is pre-sadhana period, or on the verge of sadhana period, on the verge of moksha. So we are going to deal with few verses, and these these lines shall be poured exactly and exactly at that state in which he or that existed in Parthi. There is no time, space, object difference between that seated in Sai Kulwant Hall and today, for those who can believe, as the pour goes on. These two states, the sage from the Ananda Kutir beautifully describes as Samadhi Jnani and Vyavahara Jnani. So we will go through few exposition, couple of lines on these two. The Vyavahara Jnani being the Jnani still in creation. In the seventh state of Jnana Bhumikas, it is the fourth state. And the Samadhi Jnani, Vyavahara Jnani, Samadhi Jnani is the seventh state in the Jnana Bhumika, or you can call in our understanding Videha Mukta. So how these two jnanis are described, we will go through, and then we will toggle beautifully between the transcendental and the still in samsara state. We'll go back and forth. So you have to stay tuned very sharp to this. Forgetting about the creation at least for the next 1 hour, if you can. This is a book to be carried post realization and to relish throughout post realization. As when Vibhu Gita was taken to Sri Ramana, he told it, "Oh, my state is exactly described in this book." Okay, so a jnani does not read that book for any other sake. He smiles and relishes that his state or that state is being described in this. So this is such a book. Even after Vibhu Gita is read and absorbed, yeah, both books can be carried. Vibhu Gita and Jivanmukta. No other treatise required. We'll go through a couple of lines from on Samadhi Jnani and Vyavahara Jnani. In Vyavahara Jnani, the impression of Nirvikalpa Samadhi or Brahmakara Vritti Sthiti is not everlasting, deep and continuous as that of a Samadhi Jnani. In the former, it is like that of an impression in water, whereas in the case of Samadhi Jnani, it is like that of an impression in the earth. It is deep and continuous like Thailadara. A Vyavahara Jnani can discriminate between a fool and an intelligent man, between a rogue and an honest man. Despite that he can discriminate and he can know everything about the creation, still he is not affected in his feelings. He is neither exalted when he gets success nor depressed when he fails. He neither loves an honest man nor hates the rogue. He has samadrishti in that sense. Whereas when we come to Samadhi Jnani is one who is ever absorbed in Brahman. He does not see names and forms. The world has entirely vanished for him. he is quite unable to work. Remember the Ashtavakra Gita line when Janaka says, even moving the eyelid seems to be an issue. He is a Paramahamsa. The description given of a Samadhi Jnani in Bhagavad Gita and various other books is quite inadequate, says Maharaj, incomplete and imperfect. His state can never be imagined by the limited mind and can never be described by the finite speech. He shines in his own pristine glory, shines Shivarahasya, supernal light. This is about the two states. Now, as he said, he will keep talk few lines expression. We will go through the aroma of the Jivanmukta, Vyavahara Jnani, and then Acharya will take through one expression. 5-6 expressions of a Vyavahara Jnani or a Jivanmukta in creation. We say Madil Mail Pune, okay? He sits on the wall like a cat sits on the wall. He can toggle effortlessly between, while he is in creation, Vyavahara Jnani. While he is silent, he is Samadhi Jnani. Like Swami told, while as the chancellor of the university, I am a strict administrator. While in Uti, I am a child. While in Vrindavan, I am playful. While I am silent, I am God. Similarly, a jnani can, if he has to be in the creation for benefit of humanity or for carrying out his leftover karmas or to clear his leftover prarabdha karmas, if we say, he can be a Vyavahara Jnani, and in during the day, if he gets opportunity 15 times, 20 times, 25 times, or like he was staying in Parthi the entire day, if he is onto himself, he can be a Samadhi Jnani throughout the day. Actually, there is no difference between Jivanmukta and Videha Mukta. It is manifestation of the same Brahmananda, same Brahmakara Vritti in two ways. One in creation, one beyond creation. One in body and one beyond the body. So we will start with the aroma of the Jivan Mukta, while a sadhaka will read out one by one expression from the aroma of the Jivan Mukta, Vyavahara Jnani. He will just throw light on each expression from whatever it came while in Parthi. Same thing. He has just noted out the dotted lines. No laptops, nothing, no written material, no reference to Upanishads. It is all that state while at Puttaparthi. So we will start now. You can read out loud.
Released from bondage.
Released from bondage. As the expression indicates, you see the beauty while seated at Ananda Kutir, while he was writing or he was dictating whatever it is, and other one. Usually Krishnanandaji Maharaj used to take the notes while Shivananda used to say in the later stages. Sometimes Venkateshananda and sometimes Krishnananda. So whether he was writing or whether he was telling out, see how beautifully and how clearly Maharaj has segregated and thrown light on these two stages. What is the expression? Released from bondage. So, while we say being in the shelter being under a cool tree has somewhere the backdrop of sun, where the sunlight was not there, heat was not there, neither the cold will be seen, realized. The yogis in the Himalaya living for 100, 150 years, those who have gone beyond everything, they can sit in snow. For us, it is unimaginable. They can sit in snow and meditate for hours because there is neither heat nor cold for them. All dvandam have been crossed. But here there is the duality. Released from bondage means there is a backdrop of bondage. There is a background of the state prior to that realizations, that D-day, that D-hour, D-second, when the realization dawned. Until then, bondage was there, avidya was there. So, this is the Vyavahara Jnani, aware that bondage was there. He may not be aware of the events or the actions done in bondage, but he's aware that somewhere he was in bondage. Vyavahara Jnani. Next.
Shines with knowledge of Brahman.
Shining with knowledge of Brahman. That means still awareness of awareness is there. The knowledge of Brahman expression is there. All other knowledge, of course, everything have gone. Vijnana, Sujnana, all those things have gone. But Brahma Jnana, awareness is there still for the Vyavahara Jnani. So he say the expression is shines in the knowledge of Brahman. What he poured in the subsequent pores, which will touch abundantly, we will in whole, not abundantly, wholly we will glide through when we go touch upon the Samadhi Jnani expressions by Maharaj. So knowledge of Brahman is the awareness of awareness. Next.
Ever blissful, or swims in the ocean of bliss, or floats in the sea of joy.
Yes. So still that experience of bliss is there. Shines, swims in the ocean of bliss. So the expression is that, see, one thing you have to be clear. The Jnani will not say even as the Vyavahara Jnani because he has crossed everything. He has realized Brahman, abiding in self. So the Jnani will not say all these lines. Maharaj did not write, I shine, I swim in the ocean of bliss. This has to be very clear. There is a very, very thin line between, unseen layer between Vyavahara Jnani and the Samadhi Jnani state. It is for the onlookers, for the disciples or the visitors who will feel that Maharaj or Guru or Acharya is in bliss. Sometimes here or there in whisper, that expression might even arise from the Jnani. Aha, Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. For the 3-4 sadhakas, out of which now 2 are still continuing, and if their memory is sharp, he from a Thursday bhajan, he poured Ananda in bhajans. That means he was experiencing that Ananda still. Vyavahara Jnani. Next.
Cross Maya.
By now, you would have got the clue. This is the same as saying that released from bondage. Crossed Maya, that means somewhere Maya was there. Somewhere avidya was there. That is how the expression about the Vyavahara Jnani says he has crossed Maya. That means earlier somewhere he would have been bound by the chain of Maya, bound by the chain of avidya, now released from Maya. Next.
Abandon lower nature.
Abandon the lower nature. Lower nature is what? From your understanding of the Vasana session and the Manas Buddhi Chitta Ahankara session, lower nature is when we went through the creation as per the Sankhya of Kapila. When we went through the creation session, there was aham. That aham is the pure self. I am I, the sound of self. Aham, aham. For easy understanding, always Acharya says big I. And when that aham gets disturbed or gets perverted, is the correct expression. The aham pure self is perverted by few other factors coming into that jiva, first being vasana and others being the five kleshas. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. All of them or any of them, even vasanas, at the first starting of the impression about another jiva. From there, the lower I or the from the aham to ahankara, the lower I, the lower nature takes over. And then we don't know how many births he carries, because in that flow chart in the MBCA, this thing, all of them are available for those who want to refresh their memories. The flow chart is available in the MBCA session in the blog still. Very clear flow chart. Because when these avidya and its siblings, asmita, ragadvesha, abhinivesha, all of them join together and start having an impact on the jiva. Why several births? Because pushed by these one of or these factors joining together in the MBCA, we said two workers joining together, the chitta and the ahankara, blind clouding the general manager intellect and dictating the manas to act. Okay, you remember that diagram? So, when these kleshas and the vasanas take over and they push the jiva to act in a particular way, actions taken up, actions propelled or pushed by ahankara and chitta, they will fetch future karmas. So the cycle goes on, goes on. The jiva gets stuck up like Abhimanyu got stuck up in the chakra vyuha. He knew how to enter, but he did not know how to get out. Because while he was in the womb of his mother. Lord Krishna was explaining about the Chakravyuha. So this child within the womb heard up to the entry level. And while Krishna was explaining about how to come out, the mother had slept, it says. So, coming back to that, Chitta, Ahankara, Karma, coming back impressions stored in the Chitta, and the more karmas, more births to clear more karmas, and everyday additional karmas. Miserable. So, several births it would have continued till, as he said in one of the recent sessions, I think Satyapalana session, that till the time or one of the question answer sessions, that till the time your karmas come to a very minimal level, your cycle of Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam continues. When you reach that stage in one life, an Acharya walks in and knocks at your door and takes over you and teaches you sadhana chatushtaya. Atah, atah, Brahma Jignasa, Atota Brahma Jignasa. This was the expression with which the Guru Shishya Parampara started in 2011 May. This was all about the Vyavahara Jnani. Now, like the movie flashback, going move and forth, you have to be very sharp, and then you have to go beyond the creation, and you have to. Now, in this session, there is no scope for the child bird to get tired and to rest on a tree. Here you have to run with Acharya, because this toggling between Samadhi and Vyavahara Jnani, you have to glide along with Acharya in the same speed, in the same momentum, with the same velocity. Now we are going over to the experience of the Jivanmukta, and it comes without Deshakala, this thing, the difference. Okay. It is coming as the state existed in the Sai Kulwant Hall, the divine sanctum sanctorum. So, in that sense, he is taking you along. For one moment, Acharya permits you to come and sit in the Sai Kulwant Hall along with him, nobody else being there. Come, let us sit in the Sai Kulwant Hall, and for a minute, visualize no difference between the ladies and the gents queue. All are seated together with the Acharya. Swami's chair is there. Because you have to feel exactly how he existed, how this was experienceless experience he existed while he glided the experience of the Jivanmukta, Samadhi Jnani, transcendental state. The first expression in the experience of Jivanmukta was, I am alone. And see the beauty here. While he described, Shivanandaji, Brahma Rishi described about the Vyavahara Jnani, as a third person he explained. He swims in the ocean of bliss. He is here. When it came to Samadhi Jnani, the expression changed to I am alone. See the difference. So it is as though he is dictating to Krishnanandaji Maharaj visualized the aroma of the Jivanmukta of his own state before coming and staying for a few days in that Dharamshala in Rishikesh, where he had to take the Diksha. So he found one sannyasi over there, and he could see from the spark of the eyes of that old sannyasi that he must be realized. So he offered himself and he said, "Give me sannyasa Diksha." So, as though he was dictating and he was referring to his state prior to that moment of realization, aroma of the Jivan Mukta. So now go back. You have to run with me. You have to run with me in this session. No opportunity for you to slowly assimilate things. You will be left behind. From here we go. The scene moves to Viveka Chudamani, one commentary by Chinmayananda, where he says that the Jivan Mukta or the Stata Prajna does not recollect his past. So, there Maharaj is not associating himself. He is not saying, I swam in the ocean of bliss. He has almost forgotten, harmless, faint memory is there. So, he is treating that Malaysia doctor prior to realization having come to Rishikesh as a third person and says he swims in the ocean of bliss. Whereas here, this is the eternal state post realization, transcendental state at Parthi is I am alone. Believe me that one day, that 8 o'clock, Veda started, Vedanarayanji and 4-5, his this thing. Two of them very senior and 1-2 boys maybe in the PG level. They are started this thing from 8 and even up to the end of the bhajans. That state could not move out of this I am alone. Straight, you are maybe all those male sadhakas, you are seated here along with me in Puttaparthi, the female sadhakas, you are seated along with me. In between us, the Guru and your sadhakas, the differentiation of male and female is gone. Okay. And you are gliding as the master takes you through the state of I am alone. Partipur, 2018-19. From that picture, Swami grows beyond the creation. So the Swami's form is gone. Because Swami's form has to be within the creation only. So there is no form anymore. Beyond the creation, beyond the 5 elements. So that expansion is Anantam, is even cannot be said it is space because it is beyond space. Unimaginable. Purnam. Anantam. And here, like that form to that Anantam of Sai, from here, Gurus or Satyas state from the limited form seated in Parthi to same Anantam, Purnam, unimaginable, and at once, without any time-space barrier gap, they have merged together. And thereafter, he gave a pour. In that state, avidya was never there. The sadhaka was never there. Sadhana never started. Sadhana Chatushtya never had to be imbibed. Shavana Manana Nididhyasana never came up. The Aham Bhojanam Bhojyam Na Bhokta, all the three difference between the three never was there. Nirvana Shatakam never came into existence. Vedas, Upanishads never came into existence. Now tell me, can there be any other state more qualified to be expressed as alone? Kaivalya. If the expression alone, the rishis must have existed in that state merger, and then they would have thought in the Sanskrit expression what to say, what to say, what to say, what to say, and then uh, by intuition, by God's grace, this Kaivalya expression would have come. It would have come from that state. So if that state is the state which really qualifies to be expressed as I am alone. See the difference between the Vyavahara Jnani state and the Samadhi. As if you were in the 25th floor while one of the sadhakas read out the Vyavahara Jnani state and Acharya was explaining, and you added a 0, 25 to 250th floor, direct you glided seated in Puttaparthi along with Acharya to the state I am alone. No Veda, no Vedanta. In Nirvana Shatakam, it dealt the neti was at the body mind intellect level. Towards the end, it said that na muktir na bandha. Even the mukti or bondage or liberation, as we dealt in the first expression of the aroma of the Jivanmukta, the mukti or bandha also it is pertaining to the jiva, turned Jivanmukta. Here, when Maharaj wrote I am alone and it was lived, existed in Puttaparthi, it is beyond imagination, where Nirvana Shatakam starts at the Jiva level, Mano Buddhahankara Chittani Naham. Here it says, no Vedas, no Vedanta. No creation, no Jiva, no sadhana, no sadhyam, no sadhaka. And important of all, no avidya. Alone. Today, this is the first time the aloneness Kaivalya is being revealed at this beyond the transcendental state alone. Serious sadhakas can live through this session in a pen drive or in some this thing, the phone they can carry, and 100 200 times they can live with this session continuously. This is a session not to be listened and forgotten, because this everything is coming from the source, not a line from any book or any Upanishad. Now come back to 25th floor. Few more expressions of the Vyavahara Jnani. Tell it. Next. Second. So he has realized the Jivanmukta is not associating himself with that state. That state, he says, he has realized true Satchitananda state. So, Ananda, we dealt in the this thing, swims in the ocean of bliss. Realized Satchit Ananda state, still that Satchit Ananda expression is still there. Satyam Jnanam Anantam will still be there. Upanishads will still be there. Veda Vedanta will still be there. Realized Satchit Ananda state. Go back to that aloneness state. Can there be any vague, any iota of thought about having realized the Satchitananda state? So, Vyavahara Jnani. Satchit Ananda expression is still alive. Next.
burn his ego, vasanas, and cravings.
Ha. So, burnt his ego, vasanas, and the craving. That means the trace that prior to realization, all these things were there. Vasanas, egos, and cravings, and they were burnt. That harmless memory is still there. So that while he teaches to the next upcoming sadhakas, mumukshu sadhakas, he can teach all about vasanas in the vasana session. He can teach about all ego and cravings in the MBCA session. All those things are traveling along with him. That these he had burnt all these things. There is no vasana, there is no ego, there is no craving. But for realization, these have to be burnt. That thoughtless thought is still there. Why? If that is not there, then nothing will emanate from him to sadhakas about vasana session, karma session, MBA sessions, and all those things. So maybe if we can say, even that thought remaining that the vasanas cravings have to be burnt, that thought plus thought, it is itself is a sacrifice of a Jivanmukta, because only when the thought, as long as that thought is there, he can teach all these sessions how to get out of the shackles of the kleshas and the vasanas and the chitta, all these things. If the thought of his burning these ego vasanas cravings is gone, suppose one exists always in the seventh state of Jnana Bhumika, always as the Samadhi Jnani, always as the Vyavahara from the 2011 till now, how these sessions would have come to. So can we say, maybe say that this is also a sacrifice that he carries along these things for giving these sessions to sadhakas, or any jivan for that matter. Next.
Actions of mind, good or evil.
This is a long line in the book. Actions of the mind, good. It goes on very, very long, elaborate lines. So, what does this expression mean to educate, to give lesson to the sadhakas? That means the actions taken up by the BMI, the Jivanmukta Vyavahara Jnani is not associated with the actions taken up by the BMI. Camera, zoom, action, zoom taken back. 15 years before he explained this to you. So the Vyavahara Jnani still has this expression that his BMI is there, actions are being taken up by the BMI, but he has no association with them. So this association, disassociation, this duality thought or the duality expression is there. Again, all these things from now on, whatever is going to be described about the Vyavahara Jnani, you can take in the pure sattvic state is that had the master not carried away these things, when he read all those things in the Upanishads, in the Vedanta treatise, Shankara's treatise, if he had from the 2011 itself, if he had just existed as a Samadhi Jnani, not a single session would have come to us. So, it is God's will that the master read all those things, the master grasped all those things, and then he gave all these things to you. So these aspects of the Vyavahara Jnani has to be taken by the sadhakas in that sense. Next.
Universe is unsubstantial.
Unsubstantial, or we may say mithya. Jagat mithya. When we say universe is unsubstantial, universe is still there. The understanding of the creation is still there, and the understanding of the expression mithya or unsubstantial is still there. Whereas what we said about the Kaivalya Sthiti, avidya itself is not there. Mithya, Vidya and all, Mithya is at a very minute level afterwards. Creation awareness is there, and the it being unsubstantial is still there for the Vyavahara Jnani. Why? Because day in and day out he has to be moving in the creation for clearing his prarabdha or for teaching, serving the humanity in whatever way. Whatever way. He may just be serving 24 hours. He may not be teaching. Because both qualities are required for teaching Shrotriya Brahmanishta. So she should have the ability to clearly teach what he has realized or what he has absorbed. In all the Jivanmuktas, it may not be there. So, such Jivanmuktas, they may just be serving the humanity. Building up a hospital and serving there 24 hours. Or Shrotriya Brahmanishtas teaching to whomsoever come to him with folded hands, prostrating to him and telling him, take over, take me over. Not to all. He made a mistake of teaching to all. It doesn't work. Right? Next.
Roots of all desires.
Roots out all desires. Already, when he elaborated about the lower I, this is covered in that. Roots out all. The expression that desires have been rooted is there. The Vyavahara Jnani will have absolutely no desires, no ragadvesha, but he is in the creation, he is teaching to mumukshu sadhakas, so he has to be aware about what is desire, and he has to be aware about how to root out all the desires. Otherwise, how will he teach about rooting the desires to Shishyas? Right? Next.
Catches the fickle mind.
So, it is again a long line. He cut short. He catches the fickle mind. Okay. And this Maharaj has compared this fickle mind to the snake. And the ability of the sapera, okay, to play the bean and to tame the snake, that he has handled in this line. So, cutting short catches the fickle mind. So, as though a picture is running, he is able to smile, thinking harmlessly about his own sadhana chatushtaya days, his own Shravana Manana Nididhyasana stage, and he will not recount his form. He will not recount the incidents, the events. He will not recount where all he failed or where all he succeeded, but a faint memory of his own struggle days. How that struggle was there to tame the fickle mind, and then how he came out of that fickle mind forever. He is able to smile and feel. Otherwise, how he can narrate to you about those days in the September, October, when he said that he never slept? What all treaties he went through, he has described to every one of you. That harmless, that thought is there. Again, next time he won't repeat, last repetition, for your sake, as though they are all still there. Otherwise, from 2011, he would have called all of you, few of you, 4, 5 of you. 1 hour silence would have been there. 2, 3 times you would have come, and fourth time you would not have come. What to learn from silence? Right? Now, come to 250th floor. Next expression about the Samadhi Jnani. I am ever free. I am taintless, spaceless, timeless. What is happening now in the few expressions taken from the experience of Jivanmukta Samadhi Jnani state? the thread has been taken and in the thread, to make a garland, through that sewing, the first flower, I am alone, has been attached to the thread. But then you have to imagine that this I am alone flower is such an all pervading, mighty, and huge flower that all other flowers are getting attached to this huge flower of I am alone. All others are further commentary to the I am alone state. Only when that state where avidya was never there, except for that alone, I am alone or alone, which has been fully understood, only I am alone in that full understanding of that aloneness, Kaivalya, given to you as that the state existed in Sai Kulwant Hall, that aloneness sthiti, that Kaivalya can only be ever free. What other thing is there apart from that alone to go and prick or cause disturbance to that I am alone state? Perhaps no other state qualifies to be called as ever free except that Kaivalya. Along with the Kaivalya, always you have to carry this along with that. Like Kaivalya means avidya was never there. Kaivalya, avidya was never there. Kaivalya, avidya was never. This is the crucial expression. Afterwards, from the Purnam, Upanishads and all, you can pick up the expressions Purnam, Anantam and all. When the Rishi existed as I am alone, he did not get this word Kaivalya. This expression came from that state. So that state is prior to getting this expression as Kaivalya. If that is not ever free, then nothing else apart from that state can be ever free. Taintless, timeless, spaceless. Any taint can come only after the jiva has the trace of avidya. From the avidya, the siblings, asmita, etc. will come, join. Second, third, fourth, fifth child to the father. And then the actions taken accordingly in the backdrop of this can cause a taint. When there has never been any avidya at all, only that state can be taintless. And by now, timeless, spaceless is very easy for you even to understand in the backdrop of the sessions given to you so far. No creation, no omkara, no cosmic vibration. Where space, where time? Where is the will to create? Where is Purusha? Where is Prakriti? Where is Mahat? And then come Panchabhutas. Where is the space? Where is the time? Time comes in the backdrop of only when space is there, time comes. Otherwise, time has no relevance on its own. When space is not there, time is not there. Right? Next. Now, 25th floor. Works without efforts, without agency. That means still working, still aware of efforts, still aware of work. Vyavahara Jnani, still in creation. But don't undermine. Never put down this Vyavahara Jnani in relation to Samadhi Jnani. One golden line uplifts the Vyavahara Jnani almost to the state of Samadhi Jnani itself. The Jivanmukta and Videhamukta difference is gone. Where Vyavahara Jnani is existing as Vyavahara Jnani, he is making efforts for the welfare of humanity or in the small world of yours for the benefit of mumukshu sadhakas. Otherwise, why he should be same in the same Vyavahara Jnani as explained to you 15, 20, 25 times during the day when he can be alone, or from the morning to night when he can be in Puttaparthi, or say tomorrow in Demadashram or Anandakutir or anywhere. The physical aloneness immediately without time space gap takes him to that alone sthiti, transcendental samadhi sthiti. So he is not at a lower sthiti. This is Vyavahara Jnani is with respect to creation, or let us be very clear with respect to sadhakas. At his Vyavahara Jnani Sthiti only the 15-year sessions have come. Otherwise, it would not have come. No way. Next.
Sleeps not in dream.
So, he is not a waker in waking state. He is not a dreamer in sleep state. He is not a deep sleeper in the deep sleep state. When we say this, he exists and is aware of the three states of consciousness. The Samadhi Jnani or the Vyavahara or the one in the seventh state of Jnana Bhumika will not be aware of the three states of consciousness. Once the Vyavahara Jnani starts existing and living eternally, he goes to the cave and exists as the Samadhi Jnani, he has to be fed by someone. His dresses need to be changed by someone. Divine Lord sometimes keeps these jnanis, Vyavahara jnanis in the creation for balancing the papa and the punya in the earth so that the earth does not dissolve in due to the over weightage of the papas done by other human beings. Ramana or some stage when they were asked the question, they said, the sun still shines, the moon still comes, the earth is still there, and you are all breathing, and everything is, the balance is maintained, everything is going smooth because of the existence of those few yogis in the Himalayas. They may not be coming here to serve you. If they are all not there, this earth would be gone. So, his being aware of the three states of consciousness existing in the creation, being aware of the creation, is also destined by the Lord Almighty for the benefit of mankind, maybe for the benefit of one or two or 100 or lakhs. The aura pervades. Next. Mind is not affected by anything happening to his own individual self, or it is not affected by anything happening outside, or it is not affected by any good or bad things happening to himself due to his in the process of clearing his prarabdha karma. So mind is not affected by any duality, but mind is there for the Vyavahara Jnani. Next. He is aware that there is no avidya for him in the waking state also at all. So even while being in the waking state, he is existing as though in a dream state where body is not there, little mind is there, or in a deep sleep where BMI is not there. Even as a waker, he is a dreamer or a deep sleeper. Again, all the three states of consciousness are there. Next.
feels no desires and no regret.
Okay. No regret for any mistakes committed in the past. No desires for anything not attained in the past or in the present, or no desire to attain anything in the future. We will go fast because time is running out. So we will go fast in this because Vyavahara Jnani, by now you should be clear. So we will go fast. Now we go to the transcendental state. I am finite, imperishable. Again, what he told, in the initial first flower itself, the whole garland, the framework of the whole garland is completed in the first flower of aloneness itself. All other expressions of the Samadhi Jnani, they are getting added to that framework only. So, infinite, imperishable. What can be infinite? What can be imperishable? Only that alone sthiti can be imperishable, can be infinite. The Samadhi Jnani comes one level below that, or the Jivanmukta comes one level. He can never come. Suppose, visualize, dream, visualize, imagine. If one state prior to attaining realization, also he has told many times from the 17th step, you can come to first step. You can perish. You can exist as a very finite human being. Only post realization, you can be infinite and imperishable. Now we will leave the Vyavahara Jnani state. So you can close your eyes. You can glide along. We will deal with the transcendental state. Otherwise, the session will go for 2.5 hours. Now glide along. Seated in Puttaparthi, no burden of reading. Seated with me, gliding in that Parthi state. Transcendental. Now, all along, we are in the 250th floor, not coming down. Next expression, self-luminous, self-existent. This is the essence of Shivarahasya. self-luminous as the climax of Shiva Rahasya, what he may give you in the 14th or 15th or 20th talk of Shiva Rahasya, that essence he is giving now in the context of Maharaj's expression on the self-luminous. In the further 2-3 pores on the lightning as Brahman pore, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad pore, first he said, Brahman, as though out of compassion, mystically projected itself or himself out, and from there he graced and he showered that light, and with that light the sadhaka's avidya was gone, and then he also was shining. And then he said, no, Brahman can never emerge as nameless and formless. So it has to be Sai Bhagavan having Brahmandanayaka incarnated as Partipurishwara Baba. He has graced, he has known that the sadhaka is fit enough for shining. So he showers, he blesses, and then the light emanates from his blessings, and that light pervades the sadhaka and removes the avidya, and then he shines. Now he is taking back all those expressions, the climax expression of the transcendental samadhi state jnani, self-luminous, where there was never a state, there was never a sthiti where the Samadhi Jnani was not luminous. If he was not wholly luminous, then avidya would have come. So, Desha Kala Vastu Paricheda, without all these limitations, without creation, without Vedas, without Vedanta, without anything having emerged, the Shiva Rahasya essence, the Samadhi Jnani, the Videha Mukta, is wholly self-luminous without imagining anything about the light, artificial light. He is wholly self-luminous throughout, with no Adi, no Antam, no beginning, no journey. Therefore, being wholly self-luminous prior to cosmic vibration, prior to time space, everything emerging. So, avidya is somewhere down, after creation, after macrocosm, after microcosm, somewhere down. Where avidya? All garland, all coming together, aloneness, ever free, taintless, timeless, spaceless, self-luminous. When one really meditates on this session, 5th, 10th time, it will appear that Acharya, though he is using different expressions for these different expressions of Shivanandaji Maharaj, for me, everything looks to be the same. There is no difference. Because all these expressions are describing through finite expression that one state, Ekam Sat, one transcendental Samadhi state. Next. I am beginningless, endless, decayless, birthless, deathless. Birth, death and all we will leave to Vyavahara Jnani. Only one line is sufficient. Beginningless. Birth, death comes means Vyavahara Jnani will come. Beginningless. What qualifies to be called as beginningless? Alone. I am. Sadhakas. This is a very, very, very unique or very unique session for those who are endowed with sadhana chatushtaya, not that much unique for those who are still having some defect in this viveka vairagya shat sampat mumukshatva. For them, this may be a session which shall pass by as one of the hundreds of sessions. For those who are lit up with the fire of mumukshatva, this is a very unique session because all expressions without even one single deviation, all expressions are emerging from that source, absolutely from that source existing in this Aikulvata. He did not have to type. He did not have. He is seeing only the expression of Shivanandaji Maharaj in these couple of pages. For that, he had written certain commentary that also now, as source, he is not able to see even those commentaries. So, if you are lit up with that fire of mumukshatva, then believe him, one who are in the with the peak of mumukshatva, there will not be any difference between the mother bird and the child bird. They can glide along in the same speed, more than the lightning speed, with the acharya, and travel in this state, in this particular pore. This will stand out as the most unique pore from 2011 till now, and for sessions to come. I am absolute. Do we have to elaborate on this absolute? What is absolute? Again, garland, all. It is like Swami writes in the Ramakatha Rasavahini that when Rama faced that exile of 14 years, Rama, along with Lakshmana and Sita, goes to one hermitage, say Agastya's or any one, this thing, Rishi's hermitage, and then from there, when he walked to the next hermitage. The first hermitage guru and all disciples together started walking along with him. So second, third, all the first and second guru, all like that. In the garland, all are coming together in this sequence of Samadhi Jnani exposition. So, how that visualize that this thing in this context? All the gurus and Shishyas following, walking along with Sri Rama to the next, to the next, to the next. In the same sequence, what is absolute? Can we say like this? It is just flowing as source. Can we say that the ever free, infinite, timeless, spaceless, self luminous, Aloneness has to be or is absolute. The absolute in Sanskrit expression would have emerged only after having been in this state. Otherwise, we will end with, if all that is noted down had to be covered, 3 hour session could have. If he were in Parthi and if you had all come there, imagine, it may not happen at all. It was possible because no times after the bhajan, no time constraint. We could have skipped the meal, noon meal, from the morning to evening, it would have continued. Imagine if such a day comes, how it will be. Even one day or few days. Without elaborating, he will just read out few expressions, few lines. Nature of a Jivanmukta. Title: There are only two possible alternatives. Either he becomes totally absorbed in Brahman, unconsciousness of his individuality, or becomes one with God. One is, first alternative is totally absorbed in Brahman, unconsciousness of his individuality. Or the second alternative is qualified Brahman. He becomes one with God and attains omniscience, omnipotence, etc. It should be borne in mind, however, that in the second alternative, the released soul, though possessed of all divine powers, is not unconsciousness of his essential oneness with Brahman. That means he is still in awareness of awareness. Okay. Two alternatives. One was the Samadhi Jnani, unconsciousness of individuality, totally absorbed, Brahmakara Vritti, totally absorbed with Brahman, seventh state, Jnana Bhumika, Videhamukta, Samadhi Jnani, or qualified Brahman, attains omniscience, omnipotence, etc., but he is aware that he is merged in Brahman. Awareness of awareness is still there. If imagine, at least he is imagining, you may not imagine, if we are all together, 3, 4, 5 of us are together in Puttaparthi and he takes up a small kutir, the whole book 1 month he can cover because he would not be going at this speed there. Where time space is not a constraint, in many expressions there would have been a deep silence for 1 hour. 1 month, not enough. The essence he has to limited to give you in 1.5 hours or whatever. Page 84. Who is a Jivanmukta? He is the father and mother of the whole world. He is king of kings, emperor of emperors, Shahenshah of Shahenshahs. He is the supreme guru of gurus. He is an embodiment of nectar and bliss, wisdom, love, generosity, and divine virtues. He is an object of reverence and worship for all. All place their heads at his feet. All come to him for advice in distress. He is a cosmic benefactor and friend, and so he has neither bodyguards nor pilot cars. He moves very freely in all streets and lanes. He is counselor to ministers and dictators. He is Manu, the framer of laws. He is the Jagat Guru and Adhyatmic hero. He comforts, serves, and guides all. He is the supreme wealth of a nation or world. He is the dispeller of ignorance. He is a beacon light in the stormy sea of the samsara. He prevents many shipwrecks in the lives of many human beings. He makes others like himself. He makes others at ease with himself. Doesn't create a barrier between himself and others. He hugs, he embraces, he kisses, and he makes others feel that there is no difference between them and him. He raises others to the state of divinity. He is Brahman himself. All devas pay homage to him. Adoration and salutation to Jivanmuktas, who are veritable gods on this earth. The last part. He's constrained by time. What to do? You may not all be able to sit for 4 hours, 3 hours. He can sit. The last poem, Maharaj titles it as Jivanmukta sings in Samadhi. This is the last. In essence, this goes back to the Tribhu Gita lines, Tribhu Gita expressions, which a sadhaka attending this session would remember when the sadhaka was very sad. It was during the second, third week of April 2011 when the news was coming from Puttaparthi that Swami is not at all well. Then at that time from Abu Dhabi, he had gone, he poured from the essence of Vibhugita to that sadhaka, that Brahman is in essence is what? And what is the real worship? This he gave to that sadhaka later on. This is in resonance with that same expression. And we will end with this for shortage of time. Jivanmukta sings in Samadhi. And this also gets aligned to Avadhuta Gita, where Avadhuta Gita condemns the meditator. It condemns the one who is going through Upanishads. Dattatreya says, whom will you worship? Will I worship? Where we can bring the expression of today's Samadhi Jnani line, where I am alone. The sage roars, or the sage, imagine with Veena, he plays Veena very well. He is playing the Veena and singing this line for us. How shall I worship that Atman great, which is neither personal nor impersonal, taintless, above love and aversion, uncreated, all pervasive, of the form of the universe, having no attributes, yet not attributeless. Thus, that all bliss Shiva myself. How shall I bow down to mine own self, in mine own self and by myself? I have no colors, white or yellow. Eternal Shiva am I. I am rootless and without a root, free from smoke and smokeless am I, without a lamp and lightless I. Equanimity am I, like a sun ever risen, never ever risen. How can I name the passionless, desireless one as having desires? The absolute cannot be described in terms of conditions. The essenceless cannot be called essential. Space like Akashavat Anantoham, space like all equanimity, and I. What is given today is maybe 1% of this precious treatise. And all poured as source. If not from the source, from no intellect of any jiva in this creation, this pour could have come from the intellect. And if at all, he cannot drill this feeling within you, but if at all you are able to feel this, then how grateful you should be to Swami, not to him, grateful to Swami that you 3, 4, 5 are the chosen ones today to attend offline or online this pour of pours from the source as suits. And even out of the 3, 4, 5 of you who have listened to this offline, who have witnessed this pour direct online, offline today, out of that, how many of you are going to really take this one single pour as precious as your 20,600 breathing during the day? Without prana, you cannot survive. Your soul will leave your body. Prana is the subtlest and the last thing to leave the human body. Even if one of you can realize the worth of today's pour with no prepared notes from the source, and that too from the source as the source existed in the Bhuloka Vaikunta Parti. There has been no time from that moment plus moment to now, because otherwise there would be a distortion in the pour from what was experienced that time and what is emerging now. He knows for sure that there's the same experienceless experience, the same existence which has been poured to you today. Even if one of you can take it that serious, then the purpose of this pour is served. Otherwise, he is in that state, that time and now. No difference. Even if none of you are able to take it that seriously and align with your breathing. Believe me, 1 hour of pour further has been cut short. But never mind, if one is able to take it seriously, this he doesn't know. He has to open his eyes and see maybe 1.5 hours of pour is enough. You have traveled along with Acharya to Parthi and you are seated in Parthi with him and with the eyes closed. When you are in Parthi, there is no creation. In the Sanctum Sanctorum, you have had this pour of pours. The credit is not to this BMI. Why he is insisting about the preciousness of this pour? Because beyond, far beyond this BMI, this has emerged as that source. The credit, the prostration, reverence is to that source, that self. Since while being in this BMI, God has been gracious enough to grant him that existence as source, you are getting through this madhyam of this BMI. Don't take this for lightly. Please don't take this. He can only tell. Don't take this lightly. He was alone physically also, away from family, away from everyone. In each single expression from this book, we would call it as treatise, not lesser than any of the Upanishads, major Upanishads. Each expression he would have lived one day, whole day from morning. And maybe the feeling of hunger would not have been there. 365 days could have passed. And that glimpse, that essence, undiluted essence, served in the silver plate with the silver spoon. He has taken the silver spoon, asked you to open your mouth, and he has given it to you. Will you take it? Will you not take it? Jai Sai Ram, Hari Om.